Hi, I'm just talking to Zaynub, who's a pupil at Educare, and I'm going to ask her a few questions, and she's very kindly agreed to talk to me. There she is. Hi.
Okay.
Would you just like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. My name is Zaynub, and I am 10 years old. I've been in Educare for about 6 years, and I started in kindergarten. My favourite subject is math, as everyone in the entire school knows.
That's brilliant. Thank you. What would you say was the most important thing to you about Educare?
The fact that we learn, but we also have to have fun and have experiences while we learn, instead of just sitting at a table and someone talking on a board, because we also get to do experiments and go on trips to different places.
What would you say has been the most surprising thing that you've learned or experienced at Educare?
I would say that that's a hard question.
Yep.
The fact that some people don't stay in Educare for the whole time and go to different schools, because I find that Educare is quite a free school and it lets you have a lot of opportunities and you can do quite a bit of what you want to while also learning and staying in the school boundaries.
It's really interesting. Would you recommend Educare as a school to anybody else?
Yes, I would. I have a few friends who I think would benefit from that, because I know that in some schools you have bullies occasionally, but Educare doesn't seem to have any bullies because there's so little amount of people that you're basically stuck with them, and you're always friends because everyone can be nice to each other, and it's not like a giant school where people you don't know and it's like a lot of strangers. You get to meet friends, and if you don't want to be friends, instead of being rude to each other, you just have mutual respect but aren't unkind.
So, Zainab, from speaking to friends that don't go to Educare, what would you say was different about Educare school to the kind of schools that your friends go to?
First of all, there's no homework or uniforms, which everyone is very jealous of. And also the amount of people in our school, and the fact that our school is called Educare Small School, but the word small is in our name. Many of my friends find that very odd.
What do they find odd about that? That's interesting.
Because they go to such big schools that they think that if there's only about 50 children in the whole school, it makes them think that's a very small school. That's about 2 classes there.
Yeah, that's true. What difference do you think that makes to your experience at school?
Well, it means that you don't exactly get a lot of friend options, but you can it's easier to make friends. I find that if there's a small amount of people, then I feel like I can open up and talk to some people. But if there's a load of people, then I feel overwhelmed. Because some people are extroverts and introverts. I'm personally an introvert.
Wow, that's a real insight into yourself, I think, as well as an insight into the school. What would what has anything from Educare affected your life outside of school? Is anything that we do at the school or anything that happens at the school, you know, the way the school is, do you think that's affected you? You know, does it outside of school?
I would. I think that, like I was saying earlier, the experiences that I've had, I'm going from museums and workshops and doing experiments at school. You can go home and you can sort of take away from that and do some experiments with your friends and family.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And let's think about some of the unique things we do at Educare, like movement circle, like quiet time, like the ready list. Can you remember, we've had a bit of time off, I know. Can you remember your ready list? Can you remember what it is?
Yeah. Stop, see, breathe, soft and tall.
So, Zaynub, Educare's unusual, isn't it? In that we have movement circle and quiet time, and we do things like look at the ready list. We have words like soft and tall, and having a floaty balloon head, and running across the shoulders, and being the boss of your body. What? I'm going to ask you a weird question, really. What do you reckon all that stuff is about? What's the point of all of that, and do you get anything from it?
I think that it's to help you self-center. So then if you're feeling a bit stressed, or say if we were doing something in school like a comprehension, like a word comprehension, then if we did a ready list before, then maybe it could just help us if we're nervous or stressed about it. And it also keeps your posture, it keeps you with a good posture for when you're older and for now. And I think that's about it.
If somebody was to ask you, right, okay, Zaynub, you go to this really funny school where they do this weird stuff. And I've heard that they do something in the morning called movement circle. What do you do that for? What's that all about?
That's to get us ready for the day. So then, since we usually in the morning, if you come a little bit earlier, which is good, so you can talk to your friends and have a little play, it's to get you calmed down and ready for the rest of your day when you work.
No, I think that would be an excellent answer. And then somebody might say to you, okay, I've also heard, and now this is particularly weird, that you all lie down after lunch and do something called quiet time. Because at my school, we're so busy, we've got so many things to do. There's no way I can imagine us lying down after lunch. What's that about?
That's sort of like movement circle, but you just get to have a lie down and rest after you've had your lunch break. Just to then, once you've been running around, you can come lie down. Also, if you've just finished your food, it can be to help your body digest the food.
So is it just like a sort of, you're having a sleep? What are you lying down for? Are you just lying on the floor, or what happens?
Well, we lie on the floor in certain positions, first position and second position. And
can you show us what they are?
The first one is where you can either cross your arms or put your arms like this, and if you want to, you can do cross them around and pull them under. And then you lie down with your legs crossed. And second position is where you have your fingertips like this, so it's like a pyramid shape. And then your legs are sort of in this position, like a lot of triangles in some ways.
Well, that's interesting, but why? Why would you do that? Why would you lie like that? What's the point?
I think it's just sort of help our muscles so when we're not just lying on the ground in any position, like doing this, like at the beach or doing anything like that. So then you're resting your muscles, but you're making sure they're rested in a way that you're not sort of stretching them or going to make your posture off in some ways.
Okay, that's really interesting. What a strange school you go to. What else can I ask you? Oh, you do something there as well, I understand, at Educare called Lazy Labyrinths. What's that? That sounds very weird.
It's where we have a big infinity sign or an 8 on its side, and there are small mazes. There's a small maze on each side in the middle of it. And basically what you have to do first is you have to go round the big 8 on its side. We call them lazy 8s because it's an 8 on its side, like it's lying down sort of. And then we have to go through the maze with one hand and then the other hand, and then both at the same time. And it's, if I'm correct, it's to regain your focus and make sure that you're ready for your work. We usually do it on a Wednesday morning before we do work, sometimes on Tuesdays.
Wow, that sounds really weird. And do you think that works? Do you think you feel focused after you've done it, or is it just you're doing it because everybody else is?
Usually I feel focused. Sometimes if it's a hot day and it's hot inside, I find it hard to focus. But most of the time, the majority of the time, it's quite helpful. I'm 10. I'm actually leaving this year.
Okay. So what would be your ideal school to go to? I mean, if you could make it yourself exactly how you wanted it.
Well, I would say that a lot of people would say that I just want it not to be anything like a school and it would just be a fun playhouse. But I think that learning is still important. So you can also have fun at home, but I think you should still learn. I would think of it as a large school. Even though my whole life I've only gone to a small school, I would think of it as a large school, which is sort of like Educare, but bigger.
What do you think the point of this school would be? I mean, what would you like to get from it for the rest of your life, this school that you're creating now?
I would like to get, first of all, good education, but I would also like to get some real life experiences. Like sometimes in school, even in Educare, we have to sort of like do replicas of things. But maybe in the schools I was thinking of, you could actually go to have real life experiences if they weren't dangerous. Like if we were making a fake volcano, you wouldn't actually go to the volcano because that is an insanely crazy safety hazard.
What do you think you will remember for the rest of your life that you have experienced or learned at Educare?
I think I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you, or if I was talking to Miriam, I would say all the maths or the literacy. I think it would be Alexander techniques because I can use them in school. Like if I'm in a new school, and I can use them in a test just before I do a test, because I will definitely be scared of that. I've never had a test before.
Lucky you, never to have had a test before, hey?
That's going to be bad when I go to a different school.
You'll be fine. You just said it yourself. You've got the tools that you need to help you. I just want to say, Zaynub, thank you so much for talking to me. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you very much. Bye.
Goodbye.